They spent the entire budget on chicken nuggets, so they had to get Kevin a sling from 1678. Welcome back, everyone, to my channel. Wow, what an episode. A lot of emotions in this one. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe because I put out new videos every single week and it helps me a whole bunch. Now, let's get to the action. For today's magical destination, they head to Newport, Rhode Island, where the rich and powerful play, and reality TV show contestants. The first one-on-one date is with Jed, our cowboy man, and I've just realized, does he have a lisp or am I going crazy?
You've asked for nothing but the truth this entire time.
Then they're like playing basketball, they're playing sports, and at one point Hannah gets the ball and then bends over and is like grinding into him with her butt, and I was like, is this happening? Is this allowed? Are we going to get censored? Also, I've noticed this in like every single episode of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. They all do the running jump into the man's arms. Do they teach this? Is there a safety lesson? Is there an etiquette class? Because I have never in my natural born life seen someone jump into someone's arms and monkey style their legs around them, and yet happens in every single episode. Then in a really natural moment, he shoots the basketball behind his arm as he's holding Hannah and making out with her face, and then wow, the ball goes in. But in order to prevent his head from getting hurt, he covers his head with his hand, but he doesn't cover Hannah's head. Look, I'm not mad enough about it like I was when Luke P didn't give her his jacket when she was cold, but still, watching you. Also, how many takes do we think that took? Then they have their little romantic dinner date after the fun date, and Jed admits that he came on the show to move his musical platform. Wow, literally no one is surprised. But then he tells her that he feels something growing inside him that he's never felt before. Look, his music producer said that he should sleep his way to the top, but he refused, and I think that's why he's never felt something growing inside him before. At this point in the show, I'm thinking that Jed might not be my front runner because he is a little feminine. He doesn't have a real job, so I'm kind of like, ugh. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe Peter's the front runner because he's very passionate with her, but he's still a nice boy. He has a real job, probably really good insurance, maybe a 401k, but he also lifted her up against the wall, so a little spice. Next part of the date, she says, okay boys, I want you to beat each other up and bleed everywhere. So she takes them to a rugby match, and I honestly was living for the walls that were around the rugby field because it looked like a castle, and oh my gosh, they're jousting for their queen's heart. And obviously Hannah's like watching all the boys beat each other up, and then she runs into the ref, and oh my gosh, the ref was so excited. His face was literally... And obviously, like, Luke P is just talking about how he's fighting for Hannah. He's there for Hannah. Everything's about Hannah. And it's like, okay, guy, we get it. And then he says he brings fight to the table. Like, what does that even mean? Like, did you cut off someone's fisticuffs and put them on the table? Did you bring fight night to the table? Like, is it a DVD? Like, I just don't understand.
This is 3/3.
Then, you know, they're at the cute romantic dinner after the date, and Hannah asks Luke P, do you have any other problems with any of the other guys here? And he says no. He has no other problems with any of the other guys here. Lying through his teeth. Then she calls for Luke S, and it's just every time I hear Luke S, I just hear Lucas, and it's a problem. Luke P is trying to bring Luke S down by saying that he only talks about his tequila company. And it's like, dude, if everyone doesn't like you, Luke P, it's a problem. And I don't understand how Hannah doesn't see these red flags. Like, if every guy is saying they don't like him, they don't trust him, like, that's a guy you can't bring around other people. You need someone who's gonna get along with other people. Then the men confront Luke P about body slamming Luke S during the rugby match. And he says, oh, it was self-defense because he came at me and he had his hand in a fist, so I thought he was gonna fight me. And literally all the guys are like, what are you talking about? Luke S? And look, if you've seen Luke S, he looks like a Keebler elf. Like, that guy's not fighting anyone. Except maybe like the elves who make shoes. So all the guys are like, dude, let's just all confront him. So they do, and they talk to Luke P, and they're saying what happened, and then he's like, I remember now. Yeah, that did happen. And all the guys are just like, what? Like, now you remember that you did that? Like, come on. He's like, yeah, well, when you put it that way, then I remembered. Like, I forgot, but now I remember. Like, they all walk away. They literally stand up and rage quit. So then it's just Luke P and Luke S doing another stare off, which apparently is like a really big thing this season. Like, everyone just stares at everyone. In a precious moment, Peter was just so excited to talk to Hannah, and it warmed my little heart. But then Hannah has to ruin it by talking to the camera and saying her strongest feelings are for Luke P. What? Yeah, all the guys have the strongest feelings for Luke P too. Rage, frustration, unbridled wrath. So then it's time for her next one-on-one date, which was with Tyler C. And she's really upset. She says that she doesn't want to talk to anyone really. Big mood. But then Tyler C. brings her into his arms and comforts her and is just so emotionally intelligent in this moment. He says, I'm here for you no matter what. We all have bad days and good days. I'm here to bring you up no matter what. I got you. And he kisses her forehead and it's just so precious, and he shows so much empathy and emotional intelligence in that moment that he became my front runner there. And look, I'm gonna be honest, I really counted him off as like just a player who maybe smoked a little grass on the side, but he's a sweet boy. And he's got the balance of like the construction worker, which she likes the manly man, but also he was dancing around like Footloose in the beginning, so he's fun. I think he's gonna win. Plus he does forehead kisses, and that's how you know it's love. To be even better, during or throughout the date really, he checks in on her and just says, how are you feeling? Like, he checks in on her emotionally. That's so important. Then after their date where they catch a bunch of lobsters, they go to America's oldest tavern, which Hannah, states, and Tyler C is blown away by this fact, but it's literally on the sign to the tavern in big letters. America's oldest tavern. Then obviously we have to have someone sing so they can do a romantic dance. It's fine, but at the beginning we only see the back of a dude's head and a guitar, and I'm like, plot twist, it's Jed. Then obviously we have to go back to the rose ceremony, the cocktail party, because this is where all the drama is going to happen, and Mike asks Luke P, when did you talk to her last? Have you talked to her yet? And Luke P says, who? Hannah? No, Queen Latifah. Yes, Hannah. What is wrong with you, Luke P? So then everyone is confronting Luke P about this thing he said about the tequila business and how Luke S is here for the right reasons. And he says in front of all the men, you know what? Okay, I'll go talk to Hannah and say that I was lying about that and you are here for the right reasons. Then he goes and talks to Hannah. I'm a lady. And says that his opinions on Luke S have not changed. His word means nothing. And to me, look, call me old-fashioned, but your word is your bond. So if you're saying that you're going to do this in front of so many people and you make this promise and then you just back out on it, like, that's not cool. All the guys are saying Luke P is bad. Every guy she talks to is saying Luke P is bad. She's seen how he's aggressive. But this is Hannah. Luke P can lie without blinking. Like, it's honestly so disturbing. My thought is that all the guys should just line up and get together and go into that room, because we're on a cliffhanger here, and they should just say, yo, Luke P is lying. Because if they really are that mad about Luke P and really care about Hannah and don't want her to end up with him, they need to call him out. So that's what I think should happen. But whew, what an episode, you guys. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments, because that was crazy. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe, because I do this for every single episode and it helps me a whole bunch. Subscribe.